Let's go live once again now to our shot in South Carolina. The governor, Nikki Haley, we are told, is now beginning to walk up to the podium. Let's go ahead and take that shot live, if we can, please, to show you what's happening here. Nikki Haley is there. We understand that it is a possibility that there will be other speakers here as well. They have been gathering people here now for about the last 5 or 10 minutes. Again, bringing you up to speed. This is in Columbia, South Carolina. This is South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. The early word is that she will call for the removal of the Confederate flag on State House grounds. This is a significant shift in position for her and other state Republican leaders on the issue. As we have been talking in the last couple of weeks, it has been a very testy and a very difficult situation for many Republican lawmakers. There are many who say that they agree with the flying of the flag. There are others who say that it is up to the state. There are others who are saying that they want to hear from the people. So this has been a very touchy issue now for many Republican lawmakers in the South. We do want to bring this up to speed and let you know that South Carolina state law dictates that the flag has to be flown at the Confederate Soldier Monument, which is on the State House grounds and was dedicated in 1879 to honor those who died during the Civil War. In the year 2000, the legislature passed a bill stating that the flag had to be moved from the Capitol Dome and flown at the monument. That bill also said the flag could only be removed with a 2/3 vote from each chamber of the General Assembly. So what we're witnessing here today is not the governor issuing a gubernatorial edict, if you will, saying that the flag comes down immediately. There are still a number of steps that have to be taken for this to actually happen. This is in response to what happened last week, of course, the tragic death, the murder of 9 people at the hands of an individual who, if you look at his website, the website that allegedly was written by him, and allegedly the manifesto that was written by him, calling for a race war. Here is Governor Nikki Haley.
So normally I try and get y'all ready, and I'm just not going to try and do that with my thumbs up today. So hopefully y'all are ready to go. This has been a very difficult time for our state. We have stared evil in the eye and watched good, prayerful people killed in one of the most sacred of places. We were hurt and broken, and we needed to heal. We were able to start that process, not by talking about issues that divide us, but by holding vigils, by hugging our neighbors, by honoring those we lost, and by falling to our knees in prayer. Our state is grieving, but we are also coming together. The outpouring of love and support from all corners of people across this state and country has been amazing. The families who lost loved ones have been unbelievable pillars of strength and grace. Their expression of faith and forgiveness took our breath away. They truly have shown the world what South Carolina looks like at our best. And the Mother Emanuel Church reopened its doors yesterday. Michael and I were there. We took our 2 little ones, Rena and Naylon. My children saw what true faith looks like. My children saw that true hate can never triumph over true love. My children saw the heart and soul of South Carolina starting to mend. I want to talk a little bit about the heart of our state. I want to talk about the people of South Carolina I'm so proud to serve. The country and the world have watched our strength and resilience over the last few days. We are strong people who love God, our families, and have a deep faith. We believe in neighbors helping neighbors. We are a state that has held tight to our traditions and continue to grow and change in ways that move us forward. We were recently named the friendliest state in the country and the most patriotic too. American flags fly proudly from home to home in South Carolina. In just the last few months, the nation watched our state go through another time of crisis when we dealt with the betrayal of one of our own in the tragic shooting of Walter Scott. South Carolina did not respond with rioting and violence like other places have. We responded by talking to each other, by putting ourselves in other people's shoes, and by finding common ground in the name of moving our state forward. The result? Both Republicans and Democrats, black and white, came together and passed the first body camera bill in the country. And I stand in front of you, a minority female governor, twice elected by the people of South Carolina. Behind me stands my friend, Senator Tim Scott, elected by those same people as one of just 2 African American members of the United States Senate. 5 years ago, it was said in the last 50 years, South Carolina is the state that has changed the most for the better. That was true when I quoted it at my first inauguration in 2011. It's even more true today. We have changed through the times, and will continue to do so. But that does not mean we forget our history. History is often filled with emotion, and that's more true in South Carolina than a lot of other places. On matters of race, South Carolina has a tough history. We all know that. Many of us have seen it in our own lives, in the lives of our parents and our grandparents. We don't need reminders. In spite of last week's tragedy, we have come a long way since those days and have much to be proud of. But there's more we can do. That brings me to the subject of the Confederate flag that flies on the State House grounds. For many people in our state, the flag stands for traditions that are noble. Traditions of history, of heritage, and of ancestry. The hate-filled murderer who massacred our brothers and sisters in Charleston has a sick and twisted view of the flag. In no way does he reflect the people in our state who respect and in many ways revere it. Those South Carolinians view the flag as a symbol of respect, integrity, and duty. They also see it as a memorial, a way to honor ancestors who came to the service of their state during time of conflict. That is not hate, nor is it racism. At the same time, for many others in South Carolina, the flag is a deeply offensive symbol of a brutally oppressive past. As a state, we can survive, and indeed we can thrive, as we have done, while still being home to both of those viewpoints. We do not need to declare a winner and a loser here. We respect freedom of expression, and that for those who wish to show their respect for the flag on their private property, no one will stand in your way. But the State House is different, and the events of this past week call upon us to look at this in a different way. 15 years ago, after much contentious debate, South Carolina came together in a bipartisan way to move the flag from atop the Capitol dome. Today, we are here in a moment of unity in our state, without ill will, to say it's time to move the flag from the Capitol grounds. "150 years after the end of the Civil War, the time has come. There will be some in our state who see this as a sad moment. I respect that. But know this, for good and for bad, whether it is on the State House grounds or in a museum, the flag will always be a part of the soil of South Carolina. But this is a moment in which we can say that that flag, while an integral part of our past, does not represent the future of our great state. The murderer, now locked up in Charleston, said he hoped his actions would start a race war. We have an opportunity to show that not only was he wrong, but that just the opposite is happening. My hope is that by removing a symbol that divides us, we can move forward as a state in harmony, and we can honor the 9 blessed souls who are now in heaven. The General Assembly wraps up their year this week, and as governor, I have the authority to call them back into session under extraordinary circumstances. I have indicated to the House and the Senate that if they do not take measures to ensure this debate takes place this summer, I will use that authority for the purpose of the legislature removing the flag from the State House grounds. That will take place in the coming weeks after the regular session and the veto session have been completed. There will be a time for discussion and debate, but the time for action is coming soon. I want to make two things very clear. First, this is South Carolina's State House. It is South Carolina's historic moment, and this will be South Carolina's decision. To those outside of our state, the flag may be nothing more than a symbol of the worst of America's past. That is not what it is to many South Carolinians. The State House belongs to all of us. Their voices will be heard, and their role in this debate will be respected. We have made incredible progress in South Carolina on racial issues, yes, but on so many others. The 21st century belongs to us because we have chosen to seize what is in front of us, to do what is right, and do it together. I have every faith that this will be no different. It is what we do in South Carolina. It is who we are. Second, I understand that what I have said here today will generate a lot of interest. What I ask is that the focus still remain on the 9 victims of this horrible tragedy. Their families, the Mother Emanuel family, the AME Church family, the South Carolina family. We all deserve time to grieve and to remember and to heal. We will take it, and I ask that you respect that. We know that bringing down the Confederate flag will not bring back the 9 kind souls that were taken from us, nor rid us of the hate and bigotry that drove a monster through the doors of Mother Emanuel that night. Some divisions are bigger than a flag. The evil we saw last Wednesday comes from a place much deeper, much darker. But we are not going to allow this symbol to divide us any longer. The fact that people are choosing to use it as a sign of hate is something that we cannot stand. The fact that it causes pain to so many is enough to move it from the Capitol grounds. It is, after all, a capital that belongs to all of us. July 4th is just around the
South
corner.
Carolina Governor Nikki Haley continuing her comments on the State House steps. Her words, it's time to move the flag from the Capitol grounds. Alan Dershowitz, let me come to you because late in her comments there was a veiled threat, if you will, that if the lawmakers in South Carolina do not move this along, she will use her gubernatorial authority to make sure that this happens. Do you agree certainly with some of the things she said and that as well?
Well, I agree with just about everything she said. I thought it was a brilliant and perceptive and balanced and thorough statement. She gave something to all the citizens of South Carolina, those Republicans or Democrats who want to run on a symbol of the Confederate flag have the right to do that. And any citizen has the right to put a terrible symbol in his backyard, but not on the state's grounds. That's the right decision to make, and I think it's right to do it now, and I think it's right to call the legislature back into session. Hopefully the legislature won't have to be called back. It'll do it on its own. So I think she got it just right. Exactly the right balance, exactly the right tone.
Jessica, there's something else here because as I'm watching the various, I'm sorry, Desiree, if you will, I apologize. I'm watching a lot of the Twitter feeds that are now coming out here, and there are many people who are now saying that the Confederate flag controversy is not a presidential election issue. This is what Mike Huckabee had said earlier. Do you agree? Should this be a presidential issue?
Actually, I actually tweeted Wednesday night about the flag coming down, and I actually disagree. I think that flag caused a lot of pain before Wednesday, and so when she said, it's caused pain after Wednesday, that flag caused a lot of pain to a lot of people prior to the murders on Wednesday night. But I don't want the flag to become a distraction from really what has been a brutally oppressive past in South Carolina, and still for a lot of people is a brutally oppressive present day. Congrats South Carolina on not having a race war, but the reality is there are a lot of disenfranchised people in that state. There's a lot of folks like that young man who are feeling these things and people see that happening, and there's no connection and no one's reaching out. So I don't think the flag is a political issue. I think the political issue is really around some systematic and systemic racism that is happening throughout this country. And I think South Carolina is on the stage where we really see that happening right now.
I only have a few seconds left, and there is, of course, what Alan pointed out as well, that right to freedom of speech as well. Would you like to see this flag basically taken out of license plates, taken out of T-shirts? I mean, it would be nearly impossible to do.
It would be nearly impossible to do, but I think it is a symbol, and there are many monuments all throughout the South that represent the Civil War. So having that flag be up above state capitals or in license plates isn't necessary. And I think the reality is it is a symbol of hate. And as long as that happens and people get to use it and wear it as they see fit, then there's going to be some underpinning around racism that will never be healed.
We are going to discuss. Please, I got 15 seconds, Alan. Go ahead.
Okay, interesting to compare it to Germany, where, of course, they not only took the swastika down from state property, but they banned it and made it an illegal symbol. So that option's available, but under our First Amendment, I think this was the right balance to strike.
We will see what happens next from here. Of course, Alan Dershowitz, Desiree Attaway, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time and your patience. The decision has been made. Again, it's time to move the flag from the Capitol grounds. So says South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.